our rock, the Lord our very present help in times of need. We want to thank you for this opportunity that you've given unto us, O God, that we may dine at your table. Speak to us, Lord, for we are listening. Thank you for this divine appointment with you, that you are going to overhaul our life and overhaul our destiny. I reduce that you may increase this morning in Jesus' name. Commitment and integrity. So as a Christian minister, I'm not just a preacher for that purpose. I have an assignment to you, the students, to ensure that you are excellent students that are going to serve God through your professions, as we do. That if you become a doctor, you will know that as you treat the patients, you are doing it on behalf of God. If you become a lawyer, you will not defend injustice. You will defend things that are right, things that benefit the society. So as you told, my name is Pastor Dr. WAFULA-Roberts. I'm from Kibabi University. That is where I work. And I spend a lot of time with the students doing mentorship and guidance. Among some of the schools that I do work with is from Kenya 1, that is Captured Boys, that I have been mentoring for the last 8 years. Yesterday I was at St. Bridget's Girl Kiminini, the second best national girls school in the country and position 6 in this country, where I am the Parents Association Chair. I work with many other schools cross-cutting in this country. When I stepped here, I thought I was in Kabianga High School. Uniforms are the same. It is also one of the schools that we are mentoring, Butere Girls in this county, St. Peter's, Mumias, and many others that I can't mention and finish in one time. I want to talk about the topic of the conquest for champions. But I'll be looking at the subtopic of fighting for your inheritance. Why you ought to fight for your rights and your blessings. And I want to begin by saying that God has not given us anything for free. We must appreciate and understand that nothing will be given to you on a silver platter. You must be willing to work. You must be willing to fight for your space to survive on this planet Earth. And I want to thank God that I'm talking to very many young men, enthusiastic and focused in your destiny. Life will never hand over anything to you for free. You must fight for it. God did not give the children of Israel any land that was unoccupied for occupation. They were told to go and invade and conquer the land that was already occupied by the Amorites, the Jebusites, the Perizzites, the Philistines, and so forth. So as we talk of the word conquest, to conquer is to displace and reoccupy. Am I talking to someone? Yes. So you must be willing to displace an illegal occupant of the space that God has created for you. When God created man, He created him to rule, to dominate, to subdue, and make everything to be under His authority. But then, it is upon man to rise to the occasion and work towards that goal, so that he may take up his rightful position and conquer and be the ruler and not to be ruled. But for us to do that, we need a simple understanding that our life is like the operation of an electronic gadget or a phone. This is a tablet and I can use it like a phone. However good it is, without network, it does not help me at all. You may have a handset that is even worth $1 million, but it is so helpless and so useless in the absence of what we call Wi-Fi. There is something we can't see, we can't touch, that is called Wi-Fi. In the absence of Wi-Fi, it doesn't matter how powerful, how beautiful, how lovely your handset is. It won't serve you at all. It will just be a flower. So in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, the Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heaven, then the earth. The order of God's operation and success begins with a spiritual dominion, spiritual conquest, spiritual occupation. That when you take the rightful position in the spiritual realm, then it opens up for your physical domination. I want to simplify by saying everything that happens in the physical has a spiritual dimension in it. Every challenge that you are going through as an individual, it is not from what you see. It is from what you don't see, and that is your spiritual background. And I'm happy that I'm remembering this. Last year, my brother Joey and I were invited to go and preach at Kabiyan. It was 5 weeks to the examination. A friend was to go and preach, but he was unwell, so he requested me to go and preach on his behalf, but most importantly was to pray for the candidates. So in the course of my ministration, I was reminded by the Holy Spirit to find out the meaning of the name Kabiyan. Because when we were moving around, we realized that this is a big school. Many students, many facilities, but the performance was not to the expectation of the community. So I was given the meaning of the name Kabiyanka as a Kisi name. That means, I wish I get some hot water. This environment is a little cold. From the time 844 began in that school. And that was a mean grade of 8.9. And they became position 41 from nowhere. I remember them taking 7 students for medicine and surgery, 23 for law, and 122 for engineering. And that was not enough. When the 2021 results came, after working with them for some years, they now even broke the record further and scored 9.6 and became position 17 in this country. I think they only had 12 boys who did not make it to university, and they scored C's. 2 of their students are going to study engineering abroad. So then I realized it's true that life, what we see, comes from what we don't see. So most of the problems we go through, even performance, has to do a lot with the spiritual atmosphere. The moment our spiritual life is put in focus and is cleared, then everything else will operate very well. Winston Churchill says, continuous effort, not strength or IQ, is the key to unlocking our potential. So continuous effort, determination, and commitment, not just high level of intelligence, will enable you realize that which you thought is impossible. Some people say persistence wears out resistance. Whatever you deal with on a continuous basis, you are able to deal with it, even if at first it looked an impossible thing. Ladies and gentlemen, what lies ahead or behind you is nothing compared to what God has invested in you. In the book of Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 19 to 21, the Bible talks of a power of creativity that God has put in us. That inside each one of us, there is a great power of potential that God has invested for this generation. None of you is a busybody. None of you is good for nothing. All of us have an assignment, a divine deposit of the power and the potential of God that He has given you, not only for yourself and your family, but your society and the world as a whole. So that's why Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. says that each one of us must work tirelessly to discover the potential power of creativity that God has put in us. He continues to say that it's true that some of us have more talent than others, but the good news is none of us is empty and blank without the potential power of creativity. So the biggest assignment you're supposed to do is to work tirelessly, seamlessly, and ensure that you understand why you are living at a time such as this. And that takes us to our career disposition. That you need to understand that which God has put in you so that you can serve this country in that dimension. It doesn't matter how small it is. I usually say, even if you are just a sweeper, sweep so meticulously such that the day you will not be there, everybody will say they have lived a great sweeper. So success is not having a big career title. Engineer, lawyer, surgeon, cardiologist. I don't mean that those are not good titles, but that is not the measure of success. Success is being that which God created you to be, and in its perfect form. So you must identify, you must work so hard to ensure that you identify what God has created you to fulfill as your mission on earth. Dream. Never wish that something will happen by chance for you to succeed. Never wish that there is something that is called luck. Luck does not exist in the form of my parents. In the form of my parents and my grandparents, you created luck. If you knew that you have the luck of a man, you call a boy to come and meet you first before you continue with the assignment. If you knew you had the luck of a lady, I don't know how you were discovering that, you will call a lady to come and greet you in the morning so that they create the luck. But as a scholar, I tell you, luck is when opportunity interacts with hard work. When you have a chance to be in a school of this caliber, that is opportunity. Whatever you do towards, thank you very much, towards ensuring that you realize your goals, that is what we call hard work. And when you fuse hard work and opportunity, then you generate what we call luck. So tell your neighbor, luck is created. When opportunity interacts with hard work. That is it. Yesterday I was celebrating we had a Thanksgiving at St. Bridget's. We rewarded 110 girls who scored A and A- alone. We didn't reward anybody who scored a B+ and below. And there were 101. 21 A play and 80 A-. That is a girls' school. 99.2% transition to university. Out of 260, we only had 2 girls who didn't make it. One with a C, another one with a C-. The rest are walking to the university to pursue their dreams. That worries me much, because if you have a smarter female generation than a male generation, the society is in problems. If a young man marries a wife who is brighter than them, they either finished completely or they are completely finished. One of the above. That is why I want to tell you, to be a man is not having beards, then the he-goat will be the best man. To be a man is not a pet. To be a man is not having giant legs like a rhino. No, a man is a vision. However small, however tiny you are, but if you marshal a grand vision, any woman will respect you. However short you are, and however tall she is, she will allow you to climb on a table and a stool to kiss her, and she has no problem. Because what she values is the vision in you and not the muscles of your body. Am I communicating to us? Yes. That's why we read from the book of Isaiah 40:28. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the God, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is he weary. There is no searching of his understanding. Have no might, increased strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and young men utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So I want to talk about having a dominant mindset that allows you to fight for your inheritance, for your opportunity, for your rights, like an eagle. The Bible is very clear on the selection of a bird that is called an eagle. One time, the former president of Zaire, President Mobutu Sese Seko, said, the chief is a chief. He is a king. He rules like an eagle, that even if it is during the storm, he dominates, he rules, and he conquers the atmosphere. That is the indomitable will of an eagle. An eagle does not work like other little birds. An eagle has created a unique niche for himself. He either flies alone or he flies only with eagles. He doesn't brood around with the chicken, with the turkeys, with the doves, and any other bird. When an eagle is up for a flight, will only join other eagles. In the absence of he will only join other eagles, but in failure to get other eagles, he flies alone. He doesn't fear adversity. When it is stormy and rainy, automatically sons of men, other livestock and birds scamper for safety. They look for cover to protect themselves from the hard environment. But what the eagle will do, it is to fly higher than the clouds. When I was a little bird and a little boy, and I had not had a chance to fly there, I thought when you look at the white cover called clouds, that is the apex of the sky. But I had a chance one time to travel, and I remember the pilot telling us, you are 41 kilometers up in the sky. And at that, you'd look at the ground and see something like a white sheet, the clouds. You fly higher than the clouds and look at them from the lower surface. The way I'm looking at this blank tarmac is the way you look at the clouds when you're up in the sky. So when it is stormy, when it is windy, other birds look for space in their nests, in the caves, but the eagle flies higher than the clouds and begin looking at the environment from up like that. That is the mentality that a man like you should have. That we don't look at problems at the same level as it is. You need to have a mindset that is superior, that is dominant, that it rules circumstances. And you have that mentality that being born in a poor family is simply bad luck. But you resolve that for you to die poor, then it is your choice. You have a mindset to know that I'm not a product of where I come from. I am a product of the vision that I have together with God in me. What God thinks of me is better than the way I was born. I was born naked, coming in this world crying, as if people celebrated the birth of another failure. But I have told myself, I want to live in a way that when I die smiling, and I leave them crying for the loss of a great man. Greatness is in terms of your indelible, indomitable mindset. And that's what I want to talk about, knowing that you will not succeed because you are in Musingu. You will not succeed because you are here. You will succeed because you have chosen to succeed. I was synthesizing the results that came out recently. There were two students that touched my heart because of their indomitable mindset. One student was a girl, Mohammed. Somebody Mohammed, I've forgotten the other name. She had scored only 113 marks in KCPE. But she scored a B play during the Form 4 results that were released in 2021. There was a girl called Chelagat from Rift Valley who had 267 marks in KCPE, but she changed it into an A-. You and I are very clear in our minds, patron, that you receive men that are 500 marks and above in this school. How we end up scoring P's, the story that you need to investigate. If someone with 113 marks goes to a day school where they don't even have lunch, but they end up translating 113, which is an E, into a B, and someone who came here with very high flying marks, even 400, going home with a C or a C minus, that is what we call an evil under the sun. And the problem is not that you're stupid. I want you to look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor you're not stupid. You don't have low intelligence. You are competent. You are bright, but with a wrong mindset. Nobody will be better than the kind of thoughts that they hold in their mind. As a man thinketh, so is he. Proverbs 23, verse 7a. You are a mirror reflection of your thoughts. The way you walk, the way you think about yourself, the way you do things, you need to set your mind in a manner that aligns itself to the Word of God. Paul told the Romans in Romans 12, verse 2, that you renew the spirit of your mind, that you may know the acceptable, the good, and the perfect plan of God for your life. Tell your neighbor there are 3 levels of plans from God. The acceptable, the good, and the perfect. The acceptable and the good are operated within the physical environment. The perfect will of God is manipulated within the spiritual domain. When you understand yourself like Jabez, and you tell yourself, I'm not just going to be like any son of my brother, of my father. I will not just be like any other son of my mother. I want to be a son with a difference. I want to do something unique. I want to leave an indelible mark in my generation and in my society. I want to rebrand my useless background and give it some value. That instead my parents being called the parents that grew Changa, I want them to be called the parents of a lawyer, of an engineer, of an accountant, of a teacher, of a preacher, and a successful person. Can somebody say amen? Amen. Success is meant. Are we together? Success is not wished. We don't just sit there and say we will succeed by grace. I'm a preacher who believes in work. And I've told you, when you work hard, you are lucky because you already have the opportunity. So for us to make this school a school that everybody is going to admire, we went with him in Thanksgiving at Kabianga School. I know they have about 800 from one. From ones alone are 800. The number of students who had interest in the school were 150,000. 150,000 students wanted to join Kabianga School. A school that many have been running away from. But because of good performance, all of a sudden, everybody wants to be there. Let me run through, because of time, the principles of the life of an eagle. I say number one, the eagle does not fly with other birds, but only other eagles. He flies alone in high altitude. So there is that high altitude. Mega decision of the level of your operation. An eagle sets a higher standard that the chicken, ducks, turkeys, geese cannot reach. So as a young man, you must set a mega vision for yourself. Set a mega standard for yourself, that those who do not have a vision and a drive like you will not bother to move around you. They know that this is a man who is in his own class. And I usually tell people, you are an average of the 3 friends that surround you. You cannot tell me that you want to be an engineer and your closest friend is a D+, another is a C-, another one is a D. You are an average of those 3 people. A D+ is 4. A C- is 5. A D, 3. That is 12. 12 divided by 3, so you become a D+. Nobody is better than the kind of friends they have. Friends make or destroy you. Are you listening to me? So that's why you need a strong resolution. What kind of people are you aligning yourselves to? Are you aligning yourself to men and women who only talk about the amount of sugar in the tea, the diluteness of soup? Or you are aligning yourself to men and women that want to conquer generations and make a difference? They stay away from chicken ducks. So we attract who we are and not what we want. If you set a good standard for your life, you will attract people who also are serious in life. If you set a standard of jokers, you will also just attract jokers around you. If you hang around thieves, you will always be a suspect unless proved otherwise, like your friends. When they have been arrested, you are also arrested. And you have to prove that indeed you are not with them in the crime. Our network is our network. Am I speaking to someone? Your value is dependent on the kind of value of your friends. So when you hang around useless men, as it were, with the Jephthah at top, you can't do much. There is a young man in the Bible who is called Jephthah. He was thrown out of his father's house, and I'm told he went to a city called Tob and hung around useless men. The Bible calls them useless. Tell your neighbor, I will not be useless. I will be a man of substance. I will be a man of value and a man of destiny to rule my seasons and my times. Hang around like-minded people in faith, academics, and career pursuits, because there's no way two people will flock together unless they are in agreement. So whoever you walk with, you have agreed. If you have not agreed, don't hang around with them. Move with other big dreamers. During the funeral of Polymor, that is when I knew really C Company is a serious matter. I'm told there are 5 big boys in the country. One of the big boys is President Kenyatta, Polymor, Jeff, Kirobi, and I have forgotten the other person. There are 5 boys who meet and talk from serious environments and serious issues. They say, so like an eagle, set a high altitude trip and invite all the men who are serious to walk with you. That is what I have been resolved. Either I walk alone or walk with men who are thinking the way I'm thinking. Avoid complainers and lazy folks. People are ever complaining. Instead of looking for solutions, they are looking for problems. When I will teach you one time, if I have chance of positivity, I say, spend 90% of your time looking for solutions and not talking about problems. Number 2, the eagle loves challenge. It is only bird that flies directly into the thunderstorm. To avoid the rain, the eagle doesn't perch on trees, but flies higher than the clouds. It uses the storm as the thermal power of movement. What the eagle does when it is so stormy, it has very big wings. So it opens up the wings and makes a bigger surface area and allows the storm to push it. Now when it is wider like an umbrella, the storm gets the better of it and pushes it up. And when it has been pushed up by that thermal power of wind, it then uses very little energy to go above the clouds. It does not perch like other birds. It will die because it's a strong bird. So it uses the challenges. Tell your neighbor, that which cannot destroy you will build you. God allows challenges to come our way. There are challenges that come to make us better than we were, refining us. So don't always complain about the storms that come your way. Look at the brighter side of every challenge. God, why did you allow me to be born in a poor family? So that I can think, so that I can work hard, so that I can turn around my problems, my pain into my gain, my tears into my cheers, my breakdown into my breakthrough. Don't run away from problems. Confront the problems. Confront the poverty at your home and tell yourself, I am not going to die poor like my parents. I will improve my life. I will make my destiny great. I will make my name, and write my name in indelible ink, that people will read it and know that indeed there was a man born by my name. In your home, ask yourself, what must I do to live like other privileged sons? What must I do to enjoy like other people? Now that God has given me a chance to be in school like any other. That is why somebody with 113 decides to beat by to failure by working hard and moving to a B. 267 wants and changes that to an A-. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor you are not stupid. You don't have low IQ, but you have a wrong mindset. A wrong mindset is like a flat tire. You will not go to success unless you change it. Tell your neighbor that. I was born a few years ago in Tanzania to a father who was a squire. We were born 22 of us from 2 women. Each was faithful with 11 children. There is no star without stars. So, we would go and get 7 kilos of bunga to feed 25 human beings for a week. I don't know how practical that is. It may not look impractical, not possible. That is the kind of environment where I was born. I worked and did manual labor a lot. Those movements, you sit down, friends. I don't think you will die. Others are coughing for being in the cold. Others are running away from them. Life will not allow you to be laborers when I was in class. And just like this Bukura, the ADC funds are in terms of hundreds of acres. So I will take a line of weeding from morning at 6, complete it at 5 p.m. Weeding maize for 4 shillings. So that I buy a book, I buy a pen, and at times be able to raise money to buy a pair of uniform so that my buttons are not outside. Life was demeaning. Life was miserable. Life was unbearable, and we barely survived. When other little boys and girls enjoyed their life in their Christmas new dresses, we struggled to buy uniform and used it for Christmas so that when January comes, you go to school. Bread to us was like golden manna that only showered during Christmas. And you'll be given a quarter, a slice that has been cut into a half. Very tiny thing. If you are to be given a chapati that was bought, unga that was bought from the shop, and you are given a quarter of it. Otherwise, we'll go and look for wheat, raw wheat, crush it, and make some black substance in the name of mandazi or chapati. But we gladly ate them, and knew one day things will change. You know what? Well, if I don't share with you some experience, you might think I'm just a storyteller. But I think in counseling we talk about self-disclosure as a principle of sharing your experience to inspire other people. There are not many people you'll find on earth who are successful without a very terrible background. So I really struggled until standard 6. God spoke to my heart as a little boy to change my position in the environment. I wrote a transfer letter to move away from the ADC farm and join my maternal grandparents. I wrote it in a manner that the principal thought it is my parents' father who had done it. He gave me the transfer and I quit quietly without even telling my father. I went to my grandmother's place, and poverty attracts poverty. My father, the squatter, had married a firstborn daughter of a squatter, so that we became squatter square. Solidifying problems one after the other. If they were wooden, you make them to become bronze, very tough, or a diamond that cannot be broken. Yeah. And that's why I tell you boys, you come from a poor family and you admire the mates of your neighbor. That is a direct mindset to grow the poverty into a wider space. Ambia jirani wacha ujinga kama hiyo. Don't be a hero to your neighbor's mate with your uniform. And yako ndio una bounce. Maanti wa kusherekea. Enda School of Medicine, ukutane na madaktari wenzako wakusherekee huko. Enter School of Law, so that you meet fellow lawyers to celebrate you there. So when I went to my grandmother's place, she called me around the fire and told me, grandchild, we are as poor as your parents. But I have two things to tell you. Number one, serve this God as if your eternity depends on it, and one day He will bless you. Two, if you have a chance to work knowing you are the A and the Z of all your problems. You are the solution to all your problems. You don't have any godfathers and uncles and what. You are the answer to all your problems. All that I am today and all that I will be in eternity is because of those two pieces of advice. Are we together? Am I communicating? Yes. From my squatter status, I've been able to travel all continents of the world except Australia. To make it easy, in 2019 I went to the US for a paid-up training at Hawaii, one of the best islands of the world, where you spend not less than $50,000. A team of 2 young people from the US have been dispatched, spending hundreds of thousands to come to Kenya to have an interview with me on Wednesday and Thursday, so that they go and carry a report about me as the lead story in an Impact magazine that is read by 400,000 leaders they have trained from 1967 in August. They have paid their own air tickets, they have booked their own rooms in Bungoma, and they are hiring their own car from Nairobi to carry the gadgets to look for the son of Squatter Square for Wednesday and Thursday, and they go back on Friday. And I know later this year, either August or early next year, I'll be following up to go and give my own testimony. As they shoot what they recorded, I'll be talking about, and it is there to foot every bill. I will pay no shilling. I'm actually supposed to go to the nearest airport and board a plane, land in Georgia, be given a taxi to the hotel paid for, do the assignment for 1 or 2 weeks, and then come back again without spending a shilling. You attract who you are. Are we together? Are we together? To be born in a poor family is bad luck. But to choose to die poor is yourself. That's why today, as I work at the university, as one of the 3rd senior most officers in the university. The university, like a high school, we have the Vice Chancellor. Deputy. There is no one who can one king down, lie wanted out, coming after me. There is no shadow you want lighter, mountain you want climber, coming after me. There's no one king down, lie wanted out, coming after me. I don't deserve it, I didn't deserve it, I won't deserve it, I won't deserve it. There is no shadow you want higher, mountain you want climber, coming after me. There is no one who won't get down, lie won't turn down, coming after me. I don't deserve it, won't deserve it. Unifundishe kusifu sifa za malaika, nikabudu Mwokozi kuabudiwa ni wewe, kuabudiwa ni wewe, akupewa sifa, utukufu na heshima ni wewe, mwenye nguvu na uweza ni wewe, haima ni wewe, wa kuabudiwa ni wewe, Baba, ni wewe, wa kuabudiwa ni wewe, wa kupewa sifa na utukufu na heshima ni wewe, want to thank you for giving me a chance to come and share my testimony. Not because it is the best, but if it can bless someone, oh God, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I give you all the glory and all the honor for the great things that you have done, for the great things that you are doing, and for the great things that you will do. You are not a son of man that you should lie. You are the Lord of our very present help, O Lord. We lifted for the simple from the country and made them to sit together with the princes. I give you glory this morning. I give you honor and adoration. Shintarabakuntariamu, Zintarababoshalabos, Ramakantariaboze, Shitarabazai. Thank you for ordering my steps, my God, on this environment. You said wherever we step, you give us as a possession. I decree and declare excellence. I decree and declare, and you begin